welcome back to another episode of the Higher Level podcast. So our special guest this evening, we have the king of bare knuckle boxing, 3-weight world champion Jimmy Sweeney. Jimmy, thanks for coming on and chatting to us tonight, mate.
No problem. Thanks for having me on.
No, it's we were really looking forward to talking to you. Obviously, you've got a massive fight coming up in September. Just before we get to that, how's things been for you, training wise, and just generally the last few months of your life?
Well, there hasn't been much training to be done, to be honest. It's mostly eating crap and drinking. But I've been doing a small bit. But I thought coming into camp. I came into camp like 2 weeks ago, and I haven't weighed myself at all during the lockdown. So I thought to myself, fuck, I want to come down about 82 kilos for camp. But I look slim enough. But the first day I'm fighting the 76, mind. So the first day I come down, I jumped on a scale. It was 90 kilos. my manager lost his head completely.
Easy.
Yeah.
What were you eating during lockdown, Jimmy?
You know what? The week before, my manager rang me about 11 weeks out, and he said, look, you got to come down. It's a big fight, come down. So for the week, I was at home. My last week, I was at home. I had takeaways about twice a day. I was drinking, I was eating, because I know in camp, it's strict. Like, this guy does my food, does everything. So I put on about a stone just in the last week of eating crap.
And how was the shock to the system being jumping back into camp then? Was that...
Yeah, it's been horrible.
And how's the weight been? Is it fell off?
You know what? Yeah, I've torn up a bit. I think I've lost about 5 kilos already. It's a week and a half. I'm like the Ricky Hatton of BKB. I fluctuate between my weight gets so bad before camp. So yeah, I'm kind of used to it now at this stage, being up at the highest I was there was 94. So it was 94 before, and I had to get down to 72 in 9 weeks. So the body is kind of used to it, which isn't a great thing either, because I won't be able to go on too long. But the body's kind of used to it now at this stage, where I lose the weight fairly easy.
How do you go about losing that weight? Do you just run it off? And
you know what, I'm doing like high intensity training maybe twice a day now, and I'm on about 1,500 calories, where I was on about 9,000 calories. I'm on about 1,500. So so it just I carry a lot of fluid. Like if I look at a bar of chocolate, I'll put on a kilo. You know what I mean? That's kind of one of them kind of people. I put it on fast, but I lose it fast, which is handy enough for me.
That 1,500 calories a day is miserable, right?
Oh, it's bad. It's bad. I finished my second training session today. I did a lot of sprint work and all that, and as I was walking home, I seen a Subway was open, so I just popped into Subway on the way back. Diet still isn't going too well.
That's because we're all obviously always comparing it to how the guys do it in MMA. So, do you not use like salt baths, anything like that? Or?
Oh, see, they're all right, because they do day before. Before, so I try to get that as natural as I can, because we do the same day weigh-in.
Yeah.
Oh, that's different.
It's different as hell. So you don't really want to be draining yourself too much. It's all that bad. So you'd rather get down a long time before your fight, you know what I mean, and kind of hold it. Like the MMA guys, like if you look at Masvidal, just there, like he lost like 22 pounds or something like that in a week, but they have the whole day to recover and eat if they want and draw drips and stuff. We don't, but even only a few hours. So we try to get down as much as we can, as healthy as we can. You know what I mean? It's no point killing yourself. Like from my last fight, I was to be honest, I came in like 4 kilos over the morning of the fight, and I sat in the sauna for about 2 hours and lost the 4 kilos, but it absolutely killed me. So it's not something I really want to do again.
Yeah, so did you feel that in your last fight? Just that having to drop that weight the day of?
Yeah, you know, my last fight, if anyone looks at my last fight, it's clear to be seen I wasn't the same fighter that I normally am. You know what I mean? losing 4 kilos in a day you're fighting is a massive thing. But that totally drained me. Whereas where I was getting punched, it was just opening my face because there was no fluid in me. You know what I mean? I didn't have enough time to recover from that. To get the sauce back in my body. So I felt that was probably the main reason I lost that fight.
Another good shot.
Right from Franco.
Jimmy though.
Yep, came back with the
Gypsy
right
King.
Yep.
Straight. Oh,
and that's
now
blood
he wants to take the fight to him.
Yep, and that's blood coming from Sweeney's mouth. I think. Look.
Oh,
there
shot.
You go.
Shot.
Good shot from Sweeney. He's like a pit bull.
Oh,
there's another good shot.
And again. Oh, he's got him. He's going down. He's finishing it. Sweeney is finishing it. He is one tough cookie.
Good shot from Franco then. Hit the little right hand over the top after the jab. And
I think they'd have to drag Jimmy Sweeney out screaming, the Doc's.
Yeah.
But it'll be the Doc's call, you know.
It's a call. Yep, that's
it's
it.
Over.
It's over.
Yeah, I mean, you obviously had him in the canvas as well on more than one occasion. But energy-wise for you, did you feel a difference in your energy as well in the fight?
Do you know what? This is a true story. I was in the changing room. I was doing pads and a bit of a warm up, and my corner man, Michael Kennelly, said to me, "Pads, just was 1-2 left hook." I threw a 1-2 left hook, and I had to sit down. I just started sweating. It was like the worst feeling I ever had. You know what I mean? I knew going in that change room after that, I knew, Jimmy, you're just not right. This is going to be a fucking hard night's work. And just going in, you know what I mean? I could see punches thrown at me, but I couldn't react. I couldn't do a thing. Like I had him gone in the third, and if that was a fresh me, I would have finished him. But yeah, I'm not making excuses, but it is what it is, and I've got the chance now to redeem myself, so I'm looking forward to that.
And do you feel in the rematch then that Ricardo Franco is going to get a bit of a shock in there? Obviously, if you're coming in feeling a lot better.
I think he's going to get knocked out, to be honest. I think he's going to get knocked out. I know I have the power to hurt Franco as I've seen in the first fight, but I also know that he hasn't anything to hurt me. He's hit me with his best shots in the first fight. He couldn't finish a weak Jimmy Sweeney. So it's this one. He's going to be. See, he thinks that was me. That was me top of my game at that fight. You know what I mean? He thinks that's what he's facing on the next fight. But I know that was a shadow of myself. So me being fit, I not brag or put myself up, but I know I'm a lot better than what I showed in that fight.
Yeah, and I guess the other thing as well is you kind of says previously that this year you were looking to just get in there and take everybody out. Obviously, global pandemics sort of prevented that to happening. Has that been frustrating for you as well, that you've had to wait this long to get back in?
And do you know what, it has, but then again, like from my last fight, I suffered bad cuts on my face. You can see the lip is still splitting. So it's really given me time to properly heal, and to heal the face, and also the hands are in pretty good shape now. So if anything, it's probably helped me more than what it's going to help Frank and all that. You know what I mean? So there'll be no excuses in this one. I feel fresh for this one. So I think the time off has really helped me. Well, it doesn't really help the age. I'm 36 now, but I think it has done me a favour.
So it's kind of forced you, gave your body a chance to just recover and
because do you know what? I'm 2 weeks back in camp, and even my manager training every day. Even he's saying, "Oh, well, I've never seen you this week this way after 2 weeks training. I'm fresh, I'm energized. I'm looking forward to training sessions. Before I was hating them. So I mean, that's a good sign.
Yeah, if it sort of re-energises you and gives you a bit of energy, that can only benefit you in your training or ultimately in the fight itself.
Yeah, and you kind of need it when you're 36.
Well, let me tell you, you're the youngest here anyway.
But you're not fighting now.
No. I'm fighting McDonald's. That's about it, mate. Yeah.
My fighting that here.
And the other thing as well is over the last 18 months, bare knuckle just seems to have exploded onto the scene. What do you think? What would you attribute that to? What do you think's been the? Because it seems to have taken off.
No, that's down to the men behind it, Jim Freeman and Joe Brown, to be honest, and what they've done for the sport in the last few years. No one thought BKB would ever get to where it is now, from the days of the hay bales and the pub brawlers and stuff like that. You know what I mean? They've come in and really legitimised the sport and made it a sport, you know, a family-friendly sport, where before it was kind of like in the dungeons, like it was gangland stuff, and it's really murky and all that. So they're the reason. Them two men are the reason why BKB is what it is today.
Yeah, and it's obviously we're seeing a lot of guys crossing over from other sports as well. And looking through your record, you seem to be enjoying taking out a lot of MMA guys that are jumping over. There's a few MMA heads on your record there.
I love beating them out with the American MMA guys. I love beating them. But you know what? Like, I think, like, from pro boxers, MMA guys, I think that the MMA guys are really more suited to this sport than what the boxers are. You know what I mean? So they're the ones that's adapted to it more than what the pro boxers are. I fought through pro boxers, and you know what? When the gloves are off and they get hit, they really squirmish and don't really want it. Whereas the MMA guys, you're punching guys that's used to getting kicks and elbows and stuff like that. So they're just made for it. So that's why there's a lot of MMA guys coming over to the sport, because it's not as brutal as even though it's brutal, it's not as brutal as what they're used to. So you're seeing more of them coming over than what you are seeing the pro boxers.
Do you think the gloves play a part? Sorry, on you go, James.
Do you think what James was saying there about the rate of development in the sport it has like almost just exploded? I remember watching like the fights in the hay bales and stuff, and it's just like local tough guys having a fight. And then now when you watch it, it's like the boxers are really good.
I think one of the main things that's really coming to help that is the introduction of the ring. The ring to bare knuckle. You know what I mean? As I said, the hay bales was just two tough men. Like there was no, like, to be honest, I wouldn't fight in hay bales because there's no skill involved. I no disrespect to the guys who fought before, but there's no skill involved. And you know what I mean? They're just punching the heads of each other, and just whoever could take a beating. But when the ring come in, it's kind of made people like learn the basics of boxing or movement, and it's really brought the skill into it.
Yeah,
it's more fun to watch, I think, in the ring as well. It just, when you see it in the bales and there's just no fucking space, it just looks like
it's just messy, innit? There's no. Yeah. I don't even watch the hay bales. No disrespect to them, but I don't even watch it because it just looks like two messy men like fighting in a pub or something. You know what I mean? It doesn't. You know what I mean? I couldn't imagine bringing the girlfriend and kids to the shows like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's more classy. It's more classy in the ring, and it really the ring fighting the bare knuckle really takes in because you're enjoying it. You're looking at it, and a lot of people get surprised about how good the fighters are in the ring.
Yeah, that was the one thing I noticed with watching it. I was like, especially the defence, like they're defensively a lot better when you watch them fight. Sometimes when you're watching some of the ones in the bales and stuff, it's just whoever's the toughest is going to win, or whoever's hands don't break. But
them boys like to defend with their faces. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not into that.
How is it you prepare for that? Because obviously with boxing, you've got the large gloves that effectively they can use to cover up. We see it in MMA, you don't have that. So defensively, you have to really be on point. Is that something you need to work on constantly? Just tightening up your...
Like, do you know what? It's because I'm an Irish traveller. It's kind of I'm different to the rest of them. Because I'm an Irish traveller, so like I've been around this for since I was like a child, you know, growing up. So it's always kind of natural to me. And I think with my style with the boxing and all that, I think it's more suited to defense player because I don't like getting hit. I won't like I hate getting hit. It's like the fucking worst thing ever. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like I prefer to stay out. But I think my my being around it as from young age is kind of just, I'm used to it now. Whereas these fighters come in and they're thinking it's more like boxing and how to get used to it and how not to get hit and all that. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's a different thing. Like I don't think about how am I going to defend her. It just comes natural to me at this stage.
What age did you start boxing at?
I was boxing my brothers at about 6 months. I started. I first went to the boxing club at 7. I had 3 older brothers. They all didn't box. My father boxed. We come from a boxing background, so I've always been around it. You know what I mean? But it's something, especially with being a traveller as well. It's just something you do. You kind of have to do and prepare yourself for when you're older, because unfortunately, with travellers, you have to fight. Like, you know what I mean? So it's part of life for us.
So safe to say it was predestined that you were going to be a fighter. There was never any chance you'd becoming an accountant or anything like that. Then, no.
Yeah, well, I wish I was an accountant. Damn the decisions.
That's it as well. You'd have been sparring for a young age as well, eh?
Yeah. Well, I remember we used to, when I used to live in Wembley as a kid. Like we had a makeshift ring out the back of the garden, and my 2 oldest brothers had put me and my third eldest brother out fighting with no gloves on. You know what I mean? We're only like crossed, and I was about 8 or 9, he was about 11, and we just battered the shit of each other, and we couldn't say we were beat, because the first person said they were beat, the other 2 brothers were beating the shit out of him. So it's kind of it was a hard life growing up with them, but I suppose the kids are kind of used to it out there.
Well, it benefits you in the future, especially being a bare knuckle fighter.
Yeah, but it wasn't too good at the time, though.
You never thought about throwing on a gi and jumping into MMA or doing a bit of that?
You know what? People have approached me before about it, but I won't lie. In that old MMA thing, as soon as I take it down, I'm tapping like cock. You know what I mean? Them boys who break your arms and legs in seconds, and no, I don't like that. I don't like that. So yeah,
it's quite weird, because I find it weird because all the MMA guys look at the bare knuckle guys and like they're fucking off their head, man. Like just punching each other with no gloves, and then the punchers think the MMA guys are mental.
Yeah, man, you can do like arm bars and chokes and stuff like that. I mean, I thought like with me being a fighter, as soon as I take it down, all I'm thinking of is fuck me when I bite this guy's ear. You know what I mean? You can't do that for a minute. So I tap. As soon as they took me down, man, I'm tapping like that. I have the worst record in MMA ever.
And the other thing with the fight coming up in September, obviously, I take it it's going to be a no crowd event, or what's the situation there?
No,
are they?
Yeah, the crowds are there for September. I think the O2 were. This is why Eddie Hearn hasn't done any this is why he's stopping these shows in the shows in the garden in August, because the O2 were opening back up for September. Right. This is what we've been told. So the crowds will be there in September. And to be honest, I don't think BKB is big enough just yet to have shows without the crowd. You know what I mean? So if it was, we'd probably have one, and we'd probably have to cancel the rest of them, because I don't think that'll do great for sport being behind closed doors. It's not big enough yet to be able to do that.
Yeah, and I mean, for you as a fighter, obviously, James, you can speak. You were obviously out in Fight Island with Danny Henry. What would you have thought of the experience fighting in front of no crowd? Would it have felt strange to you, Jimmy?
Yeah, do you know what? I'm a proper showman. You know what I mean? From my ring walks to my fighting and all that. And I probably look fucking daft as fuck doing ring walks like that, with no one there. You know what I mean? But do you know what? It'd be hard. You know, the crowd really gets you going to get into the fight. You know what I mean? But when you're feeling like the other guy in the belly or sometimes or whatever, and that crowd gets behind you. You know what I mean? And to give you that bit of a lift. You know what I mean? To fight them without that, it'd be a strange feeling. I don't think me personally, I know a lot of lads like that and all about the crowds won't bother and I'd fight. Yeah, obviously if you have to fight, but I'd rather the crowd being there and the atmosphere and showing your talent off to the fans. You know what I mean? That's what it's all about.
Yeah, James, how weird was it? Obviously, been out there with that no crowd because you got to experience it. I've not actually had a chance to speak to you about this. What was it like walking out with Danny?
It was weird, man. Do you know what it felt like? It felt like when you were back at school and you'd arranged to meet somebody after school for a fight. It felt like that. Like, just like, meet me at the back of Tesco's at 4 o'clock, don't bring anybody. There was something it just felt like that, man. It was different. Yeah, it was weird, man. It was like clinical a wee bit. It was like just like to push you out. You walk out there, the fight, walk back in. It was strange, man.
Well, as a fighter, it'd be hard kind of to get you into that fight mode. You know what I mean? But just everything dead, no one around you. You know what I mean? I think it's kind of hard to get you into that mode. I think you'd fight, but you probably wouldn't fight at the same level as you probably would with the crowd behind you and the adrenaline off you feeding off the crowd and all that. You know?
Yeah, some fighters definitely need the crowd. You can see it brings the best out in them, I think. And
they do, especially showmen, like showman fighters definitely need that. You know what I
mean? Yeah. I think Masvidal for sure likes the crowd. Like he's the type of guy that probably would have benefited for the crowd being there and stuff. But it was just weird, man.
Yeah. And for you, Jimmy, as well. Obviously, you've got such a strong support and following as well. I'm assuming that has a massive impact on you when you're walking out and you hear all those people cheering for you. And
even if you look at my ring walks, there's about 400 people in my ring walk. You know what I mean? I couldn't imagine doing a ring walk with just like me. You know what I mean? Especially like me waiting about 4 minutes to walk into the ring by myself and be looking fucking daft. It takes away the excitement, you know what I mean? Even winning in front of no one as well, it takes away the excitement, you know what I mean? You're jumping up on top of a ring, like looking out at no one, and you know what I mean? It's kind of...
Yeah, it's weird. And how much do you enjoy that side? You see that showman side? Obviously, you've said that you are a showman. How much do you enjoy that walkout, the music, and everything going on round about you? Do you live for that sort of stuff?
I love it. If I could stand there for 10 minutes and try to walk out or re-walk out longer, I would. But unfortunately, I can't. Yeah, this is what I love. I love before the fight. I don't really love during the fight, but I love before. And winning. Before the middle is, I don't like the middle part. Just getting that support from the fans. You know, you hear the fans cheering you. It's a massive thing. People cheering on in the O2 and get people getting behind it. It's a massive thing.
And we were obviously talking earlier about how much the sport sort of exploded, like say, the last 18 months or so. How much have you noticed that? See, just on like your social media and people recognising you, have you noticed a big difference over the last couple of years?
Loads, man. Loads. Like last year, like I've been basically in this sport since the beginning. So I haven't done that. And now it's just like we get messages. Like what gets me is the people that send you a message and say how much you've changed their lives or how much you inspire them and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And for me thinking, fuck me, if I inspire people, you know what I mean? But that's a great feeling, and people just like when I go home now, back to Ireland, my town, you know what I mean? Then the respect and love that I get shown back there from what I've done, it's an absolutely massive thing, and it's probably one of the best feelings in the world, to be honest.
And see for you, obviously you're a big part of why the sport's doing so well. Does that make all the years of hard work when the sport wasn't as well known as it is now? Does it make it all worth it?
I'll go down. I'll probably go down in this sport as the greatest ever. You know what I mean? And I'm probably one of the main reasons why it is what it is. And like I've played a massive part in that. So for me, this was never really about the money because there's fuck all money in there. But it's just leaving a legacy and being able to set a platform for other fighters to benefit from this when I'm gone. And just being able to do that and just remember from that is that this is what it's that's me. Do you know what I mean? That's made it all worthwhile in the sport.
Yeah, and back to Ricardo Franco. Just tell us a wee bit about this. Obviously, this rematch. What does this fight mean to you? I know there's a lot of things riding on it, but what does this fight mean to you in getting that win back?
You know, it's massive, Annie, but it's more importantly to me is the day that this fight falls on. Yeah. This fight falls on the day of my father's 70th-year anniversary of his passing. It's September the 6th. That's the same day as my father passed 17 years ago. So that to me is to get that win on that day means absolutely the world to me. And I'm one of these people that believe like destinies and things happen for a reason, and I believe that fight was set on that date for that reason. Now I'm going into that fight knowing there's no way this guy is going to beat me on that day. You know what I mean? So to me, this fight and this win that day is everything. There's no illusion for me on that day. There's no the thought of losing is even in my mind.
Yeah. Is it safe to say then for that? Do you feel that this is the most important fight of your career so far?
Yeah, 100%. This is one of them fights. It's all or nothing in this one, because if I lose again to this guy and I'm at my best, you know, where do I go? Everything that I've ever done in this sport is going to be questioned after that because I can't beat Franco. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So to me, this is if I lose, I'd probably retire. That's how big this fight is.
Yeah. What happens if you win? What's next for you if you win this one? You keep going. Like you're saying you're 36 now. Do you keep going till 40 or something?
There's no ifs. It's when I win.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? I signed a 3-year contract. For me, after this fight, I'm all about legacies and records. So I'm a 3-year world champion. For me now, after this fight, I'm looking at claiming 2 more belts, and because I feel with the new weight divisions coming in, like at the start it was like a stone in difference in weight divisions, but now it's like half a stone. So there's more chance of people winning belts. So three weight world titles is like, to me, is kind of it's achievable for the fighters, but I don't think 5-weight division is achievable for them. So this is what I'm going for. After this fight, I'm going to drop down hopefully to the 73 kilos, and then I'll probably go back up to like 85 and be fat and happy. That's I want 5 world titles before I retire, and I think that next year will be probably my last year, and I want to finish on that.
So Subway salads after this one then? No footlongs?
No, salads, and then I'm just going back fat. I said to Jim Freeman, I said I want to finish heavy, so I don't have to kill myself at training camps. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally, man, totally. So are you looking to, after this fight, depending on how things go, do you want to try and get back in here again this year, or do you think that's doable?
Yeah, I'm looking at November. After this fight, I'm looking at November, and I'm hoping to get in a big name from somewhere at the States or a big name from MMA or something like that, and then I'll take a break then until probably March. But yeah, I want to get back in November. Unfortunately, the thing with me is I gotta stay busy because I get that badly out of shape. You know what I mean? It's hard to get back in shape. So yeah, my manager Jim said to me, he said, look, we were chatting on the phone about 3 weeks ago, and he said, look, come back, fight in November. They maybe just have two fights a year. But then when I come down 90 kilos, he said, Jimmy, you got to fight every show. Just to stay in shape. So, yeah, I think a big year, November, then a big year next year, and that's probably the end of me, because I'll be 37 next year, and I'm 4 kids, and my youngest kid is only 9 months. You know what I mean? I'm gone from him most of the time. So, I want to just spend more time with him and say my other kids. My other kids are back in Ireland, so I don't really get to spend time with them. So I want to spend more time with them now. especially since my eldest daughter is 16, she'll be like 17, nearly 18. You know what I mean? When she's 18, I won't see her at all. So I'm trying to spend as much time as I can before that.
Yeah, absolutely. And you said there about maybe getting somebody over from MMA. Ideally, when you look around in MMA, if there was any guy you could get, any guy, who would you like to pull over to BKB?
No, we have in MMA. I love to fight Masvidal. To be honest, I even Conor McGregor's. I'd knock him out, but Masvidal just because he's done the bare knuckle before. You know what I mean? He's come from that kind of background, and he's tough as fuck. And I think that'll be a great fight to have, and a great name to have on my record. But obviously we won't get it because it costs too much money.
Well, you can always float it out there. You never know. Listen, Jimmy, that's all from us, mate. Unless, James, have you got anything else you want to ask Jimmy before we go?
Just a couple of things, man, if you don't mind. Are you noticing now, like, some of the younger boxers and stuff coming up are like choosing bare knuckle as a kind of path instead of going into amateur and then maybe looking to go professional?
But most of them, because to be honest, there's more chance to make money from the bare knuckle now than what there's mostly the pro game for a lot of the lads. Because if you look at it, there's only probably like top like 10% of pro boxers that actually make decent money. Like the rest are just like, you don't make fuck all, and you can actually make, especially now everything's coming in, and hopefully we have a TV deal done soon. So a lot of them is coming off door sport thinking, well, like, it's good money, and it's probably, to be honest, it's probably easier money if you're good at this sport. If you're a good boxer, you'll do very, very well. A lot of them are coming over to that, and a lot of them come over to test it before they go pro. You know what I mean? Just to see what it's like. Yeah.
The other thing is, you said you've got 4 kids. Would you want you get boys to box? Maybe your kids.
No, they're not the fuck that. No, but look, so my eldest lad, he's 13 now, and he's going to come over with me, and he's going to go boxing club. But if he wants to do bare knuckle, it's up to himself. But it's not really a thing that you really want your kids doing, because who wants to see the kids getting punched in the face? You know what I mean? Bare knuckle and all that. But if it's something that he really wants to do, I'm not gonna stop him from doing it. But I'll put him into, make sure he does all his schooling, and just see, can I get him an easy job? Keep him away from it.
That's it. But for you in the future, sorry, just one last one. Obviously, when you decide it's time to call it a day, when you've achieved everything you want to achieve, would you stay on in the sport and maybe sort of a commentary role or something of that nature? Is that something you'd be interested in?
Yeah, I'm definitely no. When I retire, like I've been promised, I'll be around this sport until I'm probably dead. You know what I mean? So whether it's commentating, whether it's just helping lads, I'm going to hopefully open my own gym now next year, a proper BKB centre, not just a BKB centre, but like a proper gym, boxing gym and stuff like that. So I really want to get into the whole coaching side of it. You know what I mean? And be like, I want to be like an ambassador for BKB. That's what I really want. You know what I mean? And get a lot of people. Turn a lot of people over and get them interested in the sport, and I want to be able to get a lot of the traveller lads over to the BKB instead of fighting each other on streets and all that. You know what I mean? So that's what I want to do when I retire.
And in BKB, when you look at the younger guys coming through, who are the guys that stand out to you coming through the sport at the moment?
Not really one of them, to be honest. There is a lot of good lads. So I'm not going to give themselves a big head until I retire. Yeah, but there is a few coming up.
Do you think the UK scene seems to be stronger than what the American scene and stuff? I see a couple of the American MMA guys jumping on it, but it's not the same as the UK guys.
No, it's not. That's why. No, I've been asked about the bare knuckle American and all that, but to me, it's just not the same. You know what I mean? It's like a completely different sport over there. There's a lot of holding. It's messy. It's like between what we do and the hay base kind of like level. You know what I mean? no disrespect to them, but the level in America is not great. If you look at proper BKB, you look at the UK and the lads we have in it, that's proper sport, and that's proper talent. You know what I mean? But yeah, a lot of Americans as well. There's a lot of them talking shit, and a lot of people not getting paid, and there's a lot of politics over there with that sport. So to me, it's just it's. Well, hopefully it does change, but it's always good to see someone else doing it, and hopefully it progresses to be a proper. But as of now, the talent in America is not great.
Perfect. Listen, Jimmy, thanks again for coming on. We appreciate it, and obviously, best of luck in September and the future going forward, mate. Thanks again.
Thank you so much, lads.